Hi friends, and welcome back into my studio. If you are new here, my name is Tammy Ernest and I am a Longarm quilter, and here on my channel I like to share customer finishes as well as my own personal projects. So I promised you this week that I would be sharing my Liberty box, but before I do that I wanted to let you know that today's video is sponsored by Craftsy. Craftsy is an online resource where members are able to watch classes in all different categories: knitting, sewing, crocheting, quilting, which is my favorite. So I love Craftsy. I have been on there recently looking at some classes. I found the cutest class about making snazzy self-portraits with fabric. It is so cute. So whether you're looking for something new to do, there's new classes on there. Could be fun, inspirational. Maybe you're learning basics. Maybe you're just learning to quilt and you're needing just those basics and how to do that. There are classes on Craftsy for that. Perhaps you're a knitter, or you would like to be a knitter or a crocheter. Maybe you want to make your own crocheted clothing. I watched some classes on that this week as well. Lots of great inspiration. These classes are broken down into step-by-step instructions and short videos, so you can watch it wherever you are. And you can take in just little bits, or you can watch the whole class at one time. Great resource for you. And they're also taught by great instructors. There are classes on there taught by Angela Walters, Adita Sitar, Elizabeth Hartman. Those are some of the names that I've seen recently that offer classes on Craftsy. So you'll want to check it out. And I am so grateful that Craftsy is sponsoring my video, and they're providing the first 1,000 subscribers who click on the link below will get the premium membership for 1 year for only $1.49. Now this does apply to new members only, so if you're already enjoying Craftsy, I'm so glad you're already there, but if you've never tried it before, this is a great opportunity. So click the link down below and you will get the premium membership for 1 year for only $1.49. What a great deal. So I'm loving Craftsy. I love that there are so many quilting classes on there. Maybe you're wanting to learn, I saw a class on there about borders, doing borders on your quilts, maybe binding on your quilts. Whatever it is that your skills need a little bit more help with, you can find classes on there. Or maybe you just want to do something fun like art quilts or the snazzy self-portraits. So you'll want to check it out. Thank you, Craftsy, for sponsoring my video today. I'm so grateful to you. So how about we move on to the Liberty box? So the Liberty box is put out by the Fat Quarter Shop, and this is a mystery box. So if you order it ahead of time without seeing what's inside of it, then you get all these surprises when it arrives. There may still be some available. You'll have to check. I will link it down below and you can go there and see if there are still some available. But if there are not, make sure next year you mark your calendar so you can get on the list for the Liberty box. This is a one-time box, a little different from the Sew Sampler box that comes where it's a subscription that you get each month. Very similar in the types of products, but this is all geared towards July 4th, patriotic, that kind of thing. So 2025 Liberty box. I love this box, guys. I think you are going to enjoy it as well. So let me show you what is inside. So always comes with a little insert on the front, and there's a great coupon on here for a great fabric on here. It also talks about Quilts of Valor. Quilts of Valor is an organization that you can donate patriotic quilts to that are then gifted to veterans, and it's a great project, and you'll want to check that out if you've not looked at Quilts of Valor before. All right, so then there's also always a little card in here, and this tells us everything about what's in the box. There's always a pre-cut. Like every Sew Sampler box, there's always a pre-cut included, and this is so pretty. Let me take it out of the plastic here so you can really see it. Such a pretty line. Oh my goodness, this is called Stars and Stripes Forever. This is done by Lori Whitlock, and look at these fabrics. Oh my goodness, I'm loving it. Let me count. Let me see how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fat quarters is what I'm assuming they are by the shape and the size of them. Forever, Stars and Stripes Forever, Fat Quarter Bundle, Lori Whitlock. She's a designer for Riley Blake, and look at these fabrics. Oh my goodness, the red truck. Love the red truck, patriotic heart, the fireworks, all of it, like the light blue background on that one. Then look at this red. It's all fireworks. Oh my goodness, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Then the light blue with the fireworks. You know, I may just decorate with this. And then the white with the fireworks. So pretty. Then we have a white print with stars. And the dark blue with the flags. Loving that one. The light blue with the flags. This one is red star. This would be a great print. Great print to use on whatever fabric, patriotic quilt you want to do. And then white with red stars. Love the Uncle Sam hats, if you can see that one there. Then two blue, there's a blue and then a red. Very fun. I love this. I love it. So let me show you the pattern that they include in here to use that bundle with. So this is called the Gleaming quilt pattern. Isn't that a cute pattern? I really like this one. 58 by 72. You're using the 12 fat quarters that are in the bundle plus some white background. You need a light blue for that border around the edge and then some binding. 58 by 72, and it meets Quilts of Valor size requirements. So at a great quilt, even if you don't want it for yourself, make it, send it into Quilts of Valor so that they can gift that to a wonderful veteran. Love that. So cute. All right, so those go together. Love those. Now, I did want to say, I will link this down below. They did have a correction page that came out about the Gleaming quilt pattern. There was just a slight error in some of the notations there. So I will link this down below also so that you can print that off and keep it with your pattern. So I have it right here in my box. Actually, I'm just going to fold it up and put it right there with the pattern and keep that together. All right, also in the box. This is probably my favorite. This is one of Lori Holt's charms. I should take it out of the package here. I love this. All right, this is one of Lori Holt's charms, and this is the American flag. Oh my goodness. This is so pretty. I love to put charms like these on my project bags for cross stitch. Great idea there. I've also used these for my in-person guild. If you have to wear a name tag for your in-person guild, I like to hang little charms like this. You know, like the fishermen where they put all the pins all over their hats. To me, it's kind of like the same thing. Quilters, you know, have your name tag with all your little charms hanging on it. It makes lots of noise, you know, kind of like bracelets. That'd be cute too, bracelet. I love this. Love the charm. So thrilled to get that in there. There is some blue thread. This is Superior Pima cotton thread. Whoops. 50 weight. Yeah, 50 weight, 1,200 yards in the blue. Now, if you piece with color, this is a great thing to have on your machine. So you're piecing dark colors, you have it. What I do, I use the same Aurifil thread on my domestic sewing machine. I keep it in there all the time, no matter what I'm piecing. I always use the same. So what I do with these, I love this because I stick these spools in my binding bag, and so no matter what quilt I'm working on, because I do try to match the thread color when I'm doing binding, and I put these in my binding bag so that I always have different colors in there. So great idea. I don't have to worry about buying spools because I get them in my Sew Sampler box, and I'm able to keep those in my binding bag. All right, let me see anything about that. The color is denim blue. Literally as American as blue jeans. All right, another, this is fun too. This is a cooler. What a great idea. Celebration mini cooler bag. It's got room for a 6-pack of soda and boasts a festive array of July 4th icons, making it an instant favorite. Love this. I think this is such a great idea. So insulated on the inside, opens nice and wide on the top. can put your water bottles in there if you want it. Put an ice pack in the bottom, your water bottles, your cans of soda, your juice, whatever your favorite drink is there. And then it zips up around the edge. Oh, it has zippers on both sides. So notice that you can bring them together in the middle, but whichever side, it zips up from both sides. And then it has the straps, little carrying case. Carry it. I love this. This is so fun. So festive. Love the popsicles on there. So cute. And even if you wanted to, that Americana flag charm would be really cute hanging from that bag as well. So super cute. I love that. And then one more item in the box, and I think this is fun as well. This is a small cutting mat, but look at this. This is called Stars and Stripes mini cutting mat. On one side it's blue with the stars, on the other side it's red and white striped. How fun is that? So it's going to last twice as long because it's double on both sides. So whichever side your favorite color is, or maybe you have it on this side for Valentine's Day, July 4th, Memorial Day, Christmas, whatever, and then you have this on the other side for other times. A little more neutral there, I guess. But I keep these small cutting boards when I am quilting or I'm piecing at my domestic machine. I have my machine set on an old desk, and it's got a drawer right there in the front, and I keep mini sewing or mini cutting mats like this right there in that drawer with a little mini rotary cutter as well, just the very tiniest one. And if I'm trimming up blocks or need to cut off little dog ears, that's what I'm using this for. I also pull that out, something like this in my little mini cutter when I am doing binding. So I use a binding tool that has the mitered edge. Yeah, the mitered, you know, that like that. And so I'll bring it sometime and show you. I've shown it before, but I'm sure it's probably time to show it again. But when I line up and I just need to, I use the tool and I just need to trim off the extra binding so that I can then match those two pieces together. And I have this in my drawer. I pull it out, use my binding tool, cut what I need to. I don't have to get up and move to my large cutting table. So love these. Great to take on retreats with you if you only need a small mat right next to your little sewing station. You know, you don't have to get up and go across the room to the big cutting stations all the time. You can keep this right in front of you at a retreat. Easy to pack, super cute, and just love that. So that is the Liberty Box for 2025. I will link it down below. You might want to check to see if there's any still available. If not, mark your calendar for next year so that you can get one of these. I absolutely love it. It is so fun. It's like, you know, birthday party to me. I don't know. It's just fun to get those things in the mail, and useful products too. Absolutely useful products. So thank you, Fat Quarter Shop, for sending me that Liberty Box. I sure appreciate it. Before we move on to customer quilts today, I have them live and in person with me today. Before I move on to that, I did want to tell you this weekend is when Quilt Circle opens up. This is my online membership meant for isolated quilters who aren't perhaps able to get to a local guild in your area for whatever reason. This is an online membership where you can find motivation, inspiration, a community that shares your like passions in quilting and cross stitch. And I hold this on the Circle platform, so it's a private platform. We'll teach you the tech. It's not super difficult. If you found me on YouTube, you can do Quilt Circle. So this is an online membership. We have people from all across the country, even from those outside the country, that join us in Quilt Circle. We have monthly challenges. We have a quilt along going along. We do live events. Not overwhelming. You can join in as much as you want, or if you're one of those people that just likes to sit in the background, everything is recorded except for our guest speaker each month, so you'll want to jump in on that one. But everything's recorded. You can watch the replays even if you're not available when those live events take place. We have chats going on. You're able to make friends and find inspiration from what other people are working on. So that will open up Friday morning, June 27th. It'll be open from the 27th, 28th, and 29th. And then it'll close back down, and I probably won't open it again until fall sometime. So you'll want to get in on it this time. So how you do that is you click the link down below that says Quilt Circle membership. That will put your name on the wait list so that Friday morning when that opens up, you will receive an email and you can read all the details about it. All the pricing information will be there. And as soon as you join, you have access to Quilt Circle starting as soon as you join. You'll have the weekend. If you join on Friday, you'll have the weekend to look around and start figuring things out. And then Monday night, I will do a new member event. And this is a fun time just to get to see, meet some new people, or just kind of, again, like I said, if you're one of those people you just want to watch from the background, you're sure able to do that as well. And we welcome you in. So if that's something you're interested in, click the link below. We'd love to have you join us on that. Let's move on to some customer quilts. All right, so today we are going to start out with Kathy's quilt. Now Kathy's quilt measures 46 by 65, and this is a super easy pattern. If you have a jolly bar, what is a jolly bar? I'm going to talk about it later in this stack of quilts also, but a jolly bar is exclusive to the Fat Quarter Shop. They do a pre-cut that is 5 inches by 10 inches, and every time you buy a jolly bar from the Fat Quarter Shop, they always include a pattern as well. But if you have a layer cake and want to cut layer cake into half so that you get 2 5 by 10 inch pieces from each set of fabrics, or you just want to use your leftovers or other fabrics that you love, fat quarters, you can cut them into 5 by 10 inch rectangles and you can put it together a quilt just like this, like Kathy has done. So notice this, let me start right here. Let me just pull it down this way. All right, so there's the edge of it. What she has done is just joined 2 of those rectangles together, and this one is vertical, this one is horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, and that's the quilt. And then you alternate those on the next row down. So super easy. You're piecing 2 rectangles together, putting those in rows, just alternating them back and forth. Notice all the beautiful fabrics that she has. Some are solid purples, some are florals. This one is a little more, a little pinkish to it on that one. Other purple florals, whatever your favorite color is. You know, do some variations. You could even do one focal fabric and then pull different colors from that. That would be a great way to coordinate this. Another thing you could do is maybe you're wanting all sunflower fabrics or all dog fabrics or something like that. You can go with theme or you can go with color. This doesn't have to be a pre-cut, it doesn't have to be a jolly bar, it doesn't have to be a layer cake. It could be a great scrap buster for fabrics that you have in your stash. Just join them together. I didn't count how many different fabrics that Kathy has, but it's quite a few. I would say there may be 8, 10, 12 different fabrics that she's used, but all in that purple, lavender type of color here. So a little pinker, this one's a little more mauve color. Some of them have very distinct flowers on them, you can see, and others polka dots, all different kinds of things. So 48 by 65. Now to quilt this, we did use the Omni 3114. This is called Lavender. So we did use the purple thread on this one. So very light lavender, very pretty. It really looks nice on that. The backing fabric on this one is that same color of a lavender minky color, and that thread blends beautifully with that. Obviously on minky you don't see the thread color, but you can just see how well that matches, and then it looks very beautiful on the front as well. The minky shows off the pantograph super well. This is called iCat, and I really like that Kathy chose this one. She had it written down that that's the one she wanted, and I really like this because on the front we have you know, very angular rectangles is what we have, and so she's added in a little bit of a curve there without being super, you know, dense circles or anything like that. So we're keeping kind of with that elongated shape like a rectangle is, but we've added a little bit of a point and we've added just a little bit of a curve. So iCat, what it does, you're making like a tear, you know, like a teardrop shape, but then it just echoes itself several times and then it moves on to the next one. So you're stitching, when you're stitching these two rows go together. So here, 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 here. But then the row below it comes up and nests into that little V shape that's created by that. And maybe you can see that better on the minky backing. So when you are stitching out, you're getting these two rows, but notice how the row, when you're stitching the second row or the next row underneath it, the point does come up into that little TP shape, triangle shape there that is left with the pantograph. There are several different versions of iCat. I believe this one is iCat 1. There's like 4 different versions of iCat. You can look on Urban Elements to find those. Some are a little more, they're spread out widthwise, so they're a little more rounded instead of the elongated rectangle type shape. Some of them have even more echoing, so maybe 5 or 6 echoings instead of just, this one is about 3. So you might want to check those out. I've only linked this one, but when you go to Urban Elements and you type in iCat, it'll give you lots of different variations on this one. So just beautiful. I love Kathy's quilt here. Quilting doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be hard at all. 5 by 10 inch rectangles, join 2 together and just alternate the pattern there. So great job, Kathy. My next quilt is done by Janet, and this is huge. This is 100 by 118, very large quilt. Now, this is called Cobblestone Christmas, which is a Sweetwater design, and she said she did 4 of them. So the original pattern, she's printed it off for me, and I will link it down below. The original pattern measures 60 by 60, and you can see it there. And she said she did 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, join them together. Now she's done a great job, because when I was quilting it, I was trying to see, okay, is there a straight line somewhere where she joined the 2 together? And it's not a distinct line. So she's done a great job of merging all 4 of those designs together. But so 1, 2, 3, 4, so that she got it the size that she wanted. The original one is 60 by 60. And the fabric lines that she used, all coordinating, mostly Sweetwater fabric. So she used Snowkissed, Blizzard, On Dasher, and that looks like what she used. She copied those for me as well, which is really cute. So they all blend together so nicely. All Christmas fabrics, reindeer, presents, words. You have your greens that are a little more of an olive type color green, your grays, your reds, your whites that are a little more creamy whites. You have words. Don't you love the words? Here's family, here's cheer, Christmas, jingle. Now, in looking at the words, they look like they are handwritten on there. I have not looked at the pattern yet the pattern shows the words too. And you see the pattern shows the words too. So I'm assuming they show you how to do those. Maybe they give you the lettering, because all of them are on the white fabric. And so maybe they give you the lettering, and then you're using a light box or something like that to be able to write those on there. You would want to use a fabric safe marker, like a Pigma pen, something like that. But this even looks a little thicker than a Pigma pen. So you'll want to check out the pattern. I have not looked at that in depth as of yet. Let me pull in the backing fabric. Okay, so all I did with the backing is I just flipped it up on itself. This is so humongous that I just flipped it up so we could see what the backing looks like. She did just use a white on the back, and I love this. Your front is so busy. So many fabrics, so small pieces, intricate little pieces. I mean, everything's rectangles, but they're very busy prints. And so I like the solid color on the back that just, it's refreshing. You can see the pantograph very nicely on this. So when she chose Square Dance, and I love that she did this because The quilt itself is Christmas, obviously, and we could have done a Christmas pantograph, but when she asked, she noted on here, she says, I love texture. I want it as tight. I want all the texture that you can add on there. All the texture you do on the quilts, like orange peel, modern meander, you pick. And I sent back and I said, I like something diagonal because we have all of these straight lines on the quilt top. You can kind of see it up there. All these straight lines, all these small rectangle pieces. I like putting something on the diagonal. We could have gone with a Christmas motif, but you're going to add even more busyness to it, I think, if you do that. And I think that the pantograph on here really calms the quilt a little bit without just making it more busy. So square dance really has nothing to do with Christmas. It's nothing to do with winter. It's just adding texture, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We don't have to match the theme every time. What I do like about this one is the diagonal feel that it gives to the quilt, because the quilt top is all straight, very horizontal, and this adds in the diagonal dimension. So so square dance, you can see it does a diamond shape here, and it comes up on the diagonal to the upper right, and then it does another diamond shape, comes down to the bottom right, a diamond shape, and so you're zigzagging like this, which I've mentioned before. That's how you get nesting patterns, is that your quilting is done in a zigzag fashion. And I did shrink this all the way up so that the next row is coming all the way up into the negative space of the row above that. I like that. I like the good coverage that it gives. You could keep it much more separate. You could keep all of this space open by keeping that design much lower. I really like it to be in there. I like all the texture that it provides. I did use the Omni Natural White thread on this one. Could have done cream, because the cream, the fabrics on the front are a little more cream, but I think the white on the back really kept it brighter, and it kept it without it looking dirty. This itself is even a little bit creamy, I think, but I just like the look of the white. I felt it kept it much cleaner and crisper. Now, I did want to mention that Janet sent her own batting, and she sent Quilter's Dream wool on this one. Now, what wool does is wool is it's much thicker than your cotton battings, and so it's going to give that squishier look, and so you can kind of see it's going to give that puffier look, I guess I want to say. So even doing a dense pantograph, you can kind of see how the diamonds in here are just popped up a little bit. It just gives a little bit different feel to a quilt, just a little bit more puffiness. Now, there are some care instructions you need to be concerned about with wool. So let me read this. She did send the insert from the Quilter's Dream. And the care instructions, big bold letters, do not use hot iron or steam. It says, we recommend hand washing all fine quilts. However, finished quilts with Dream wool may be dry cleaned or machine washed on the gentle cycle using cold water. Avoid agitation. Use a gentle detergent recommended for fine quilts and wool. Air drying by lying flat is recommended. You may machine dry on a cool air setting. So it's the heat that you don't want to apply to wool, okay? Please keep in mind, many variables can affect shrinkage: batting, fabrics, varying washer, dryer temperatures, thread, and the closeness and the amount of quilting. So Dream wool is a wonderfully light with slight loft, lovely soft drape. You can confidently stitch up to 8 inches apart. Mine's much tighter than that. But the important thing is that you don't want to use heat. So a gentle cycle to wash it. If you do put it in the dryer, it needs to be on a cool setting, but they even recommend drying it flat, air drying it. You don't want a hot iron on there. You don't want steam on there, because those fibers can melt. That wool can melt in there. So that is Janet's quilt. I love it, love it, love it. I love that she made this her own. She made it the size that she wanted. She didn't increase the blocks. She used the same pattern and just did 4 of them so that she got the size of the quilt she wanted. So very cute, Janet. You did a wonderful job. So you may recognize this quilt. No, it's not my own. This is Victoria's, and this is the Hometown Holiday Sampler that I've been working on and Victoria finished. I still have my borders to go, but Victoria finished hers, and this pattern is done by Holt. This was a quilt along last year with the Fat Quarter Shop. Love this quilt. So it measures 93 by 98. This uses all of the Hometown Holiday fabric line from Holt as well. I just love it. I love seeing this one finished, and it's a bear too, you know, 93 by 98. It's a big quilt, but this is going to be so beautiful on a bed. And I guess we've had 2 Christmas quilts in a row here. I guess we could kind of say Christmas in almost July. We're at the end of June here, but almost July, so Christmas in July. Loving this. It's so pretty. So the pantograph on this one, I've talked about this quilt so many times. The letters are so fun to do. You have all of your scrappy stars. You have the hollyberry blocks. You have the stitch line. It's just a fun quilt. This is a huge booklet. 62 pages worth of booklet here. This is my pattern, but I brought that out to show you. So you can still get your hands on this pattern if you want to get working on it for this Christmas. It'd be a great time, a great start to do for Christmas in July, right? But you can still get this pattern. It's a great booklet. You can use your own fabrics, or you can buy the kit from Fat Quarter Shop to do this one. It's just a beautiful, beautiful quilt. Let me show you the backing fabric. And this is part of that same line. This was the recommended backing fabric for this one. This is a wide backing, 108 wide backing, and this is called Basil, B-A-S-I-L. So that is the name of that one, but it's all part of that same line. This was the suggested backing fabric. Very, very pretty. So pantograph, Victoria let me choose, and she wanted to know what I was going to do. She wanted to know what I was going to do, but she said, you pick. And she said, she was asking me what I was going to use on mine. And I had a couple of them picked out that I'm going to possibly use on mine. So I sent her pictures of both of them. So what I may do is use the other one on mine. But this one is a new pantograph to me. This is done by the Quilting Mill, which is on Etsy, Barbie Mills on Etsy. And this one is called Peaceful Poinsettia. So a little bit of a modern look with the poinsettia, very horizontal straight lines. It does nest up row up there, so not a lot of flowy, swirly, anything like that. I felt with the nice straight lines, a little bit of a modern take to this sampler quilt, and I just thought a fresh new pantograph would be nice as well. So this is called Peaceful Poinsettia. Now this size is rather small. This is probably only about 3 inches tall. On the quilt, I did make it this tall, so probably I would guess 5, about 5, maybe 6 inches tall is how big I did it. Now this is one of those pantographs that every other line is going to be different. So if you were labeling these lines, and I can show you here, so this would be line A, this would be line B, and then you're back to line A. So notice over here, if I was starting this pantograph, that this pantograph, this line is going to start at a different point on the poinsettia than this one would down here. Why that is important is because if you are realigning a pantograph in the morning, perhaps you had to shut down, especially a big quilt as this is, you have to shut down at the end of the night and restart it in the morning. You need to make sure that when you realign your pantograph, you're on the correct line. And so that's where, so if I finish this line right here the night before, I would realign it to make sure I'm on that line and not this one when I realign the pantograph the next morning. So besides that, there's no fussy points. You can see how it nests up inside each, it nests up there a little bit, and makes great coverage. I think it's very, very pretty. The thread I used on this one is the Omni cream color. These fabrics are not bright white. They are more of the creamy look. I mean, if you can see, my sweater is more white, and then this is more of a creamy color, so that cream blended up super nice. You're not seeing the pantograph from a distance at all. It's not till you get in close. I didn't want to overpower this with a lot of fussy, too tight quilting. There's so much going on. You've got the letters and the stars and everything. So this pantograph, I left it, I would say, a medium. You know, you could go smaller, even though those middle berries of the poinsettia, even at the size I did it, were pretty small. And so you want to make sure that you're getting nice, good stitching in those small circles there. There's like 4 small berries right there in the middle, and I could cover up all 4 of them with the end of my finger. So those are even pretty small, even at this size of pantograph. But this was a fun pantograph. Kind of like the take on a little more modern look for a Christmas pantograph. I think this is really, really cute. So that is Victoria's quilt, and she'll be all ready for Christmas. Next up, I have 2 quilts from Jan, and these are both so adorable. This one is called Easy as ABC. This is done by Darlene Zimmerman, and this is a free pattern, so you will want to get a hold of this one. So designed by Darlene Zimmerman, this is on Robert Kaufman Fabrics website. I have linked it down below, but here is a copy of the pattern. So this is using a panel that is called My ABC Book, I think is what it was, or maybe just ABC Book. So you can see the letters with, this is so retro and it's just so cute. So the letters, so you can make this panel into like a cloth book for a child. Notice the very top block, I'll pull it right in here. This is the front of the book right here, and then all of the letters, so A through Z, and then the back of the book is at the very bottom right hand corner. So cute, really, really. So these are all 30s prints. Now Jan says that she used a mix of Darlene's Favorites, which is done by Robert Kaufman, 30s Playtime, or Playtime 30s, I can't remember which way that goes, Chloe's Closet, which is done by Moda, and then I'll show you the backing fabric in just a minute. So all of these 30s prints, absolutely adorable. So you have your rectangle with the fussy cut panel piece in there, the alphabet letter, and then here's your block. Do you see right here? So we're adding a rectangle, top and bottom, rectangle on the sides, corner squares around those, and then here is the block for the next one. So each one you're having rectangles on the side, corners on each corner around each one of the those letter blocks. And then around the outside edge we have one more row of blocks around the outside. So this right here, the orange and the green, is the end of that block. And then we have one more row. You could say it's a border, but it's a pieced border where we're repeating the design. So we have 2 squares here, long rectangle, and you do that all the way around. And then you have one border around the outside edge, one solid one around the outside edge. Love the prints on this one. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love the fabrics on this one. So for the backing fabric, she has done a pieced backing. This is all from the same line. This is Pat Sloan's line called Sleepovers. And so she's done a nice job of joining those pieces together. You know, could be fat quarters. I don't know exactly. Could be fat quarters, but she's done a nice job of piecing that all together. All right, for pantograph, this one is called Whisper. And I do think... No, I don't have a printout of this one, but Whisper, and it's going to be kind of hard to see on this on these fabrics, but Whisper is a playful pantograph, I feel like, so I think it works really nicely with this one. So let me bring this in so you can see a little bit. All right, so Whisper has nice big paisley type nice big paisley type shapes on the back of a spiral. And then it also has some bubbles on there. I didn't make this super tiny, probably a medium type of density, but a good coverage on there. And so a tight spiral swirl does come to a point, and then once it comes out of the swirl, it does nice paisley shape, or feather shape, if you want to say, the feather shape on the back of that spiral. and then it works itself across the quilt. I did use Omni Natural White thread on this one. Kept it bright, kept it fresh, kept it clean and just crisp. It looks really good, really good. The size of this quilt is, this one measures 60 by 58, so it's almost square. Yeah, and even on the direct, 59 by 58, so almost square there. Beautiful quilt. So if you have a panel or you have another book, you know, a panel, any kind of a panel that's to be made into a child's book, you can always make it into a quilt and just fussy cut those shapes in there, make it into a block, add those blocks all together in nice rows, and you've got a beautiful, beautiful quilt. I cannot get over these fabrics. I've never made a quilt with 30s fabrics, and I need to. I just absolutely love it. So, so cute. So that's Jan's quilt, and that's Jan's first quilt, and you guys stay tuned for her second one. I think you may have got a peek at it. It is so cute. Jan's second quilt is a temperature quilt. Oh my goodness, this is beautiful, beautiful. I love this one. So she said, she wrote me a nice note here, and she says, I jumped on the temperature quilt bandwagon last year, and here is the end result. Like the saying goes, better done than perfect. I don't see any mistakes. I mean, it's beautiful. She says, it didn't dawn on me at the time all the different points and corners I would have to match, and sometimes it was a real challenge. So you can see we're having, you know, small little blocks here, and so you got lots of points to match up. She did a great job. She said, I came up with the pattern after researching temperature quilts and came across a design I liked on darcyquilts.com, and I have linked that down below. There's a whole blog post about temperature quilts. And it said, yeah, she says there's a whole section on temperature quilts, and that's what I've linked down below. For this quilt, I cut 5 by 2.5 inch rectangles for the high temperatures. Okay, so notice the blocks right here. This 5 by 2.5 inch strip is the high temperature for that day. Then the low temperature she added in this fussy, this easy corner triangle on the side here. So here's the high temperature in this, the lighter purple here. The low temperature is then in this darker corner triangle right there. The next day, the pink is the high temperature for that day, and then the purple triangle right here is the low temperature for that day. Incredible. Oh my goodness. So here, yellow, that's the high temperature. The purple is the low temperature. Now, then she says, so the 5 by 2.5 inch rectangles are the high temperature, and then she snowballed or easy corner triangles a 2.5 inch square in the corner for the low temperature. And notice that on this day she put it in the bottom right, this day she put it on the bottom left, so that when you join those together, so she's had to plan this because, you know, you're doing it daily like this, but then where this one matches up, well, now I want the low temperature on the top right, and the next day the low temperature on the top left, so that I get that diamond shape right there. Incredible, Jan. Now, she says, if the day also had precipitation, I snowballed a 1 5/8 inch square in the opposite corner. Okay, so right here, do you see this yellow rectangle right here? Okay, the low temperature is in this 2.5 inch square added onto this corner. The precipitation is then a smaller gray easy corner triangle on the opposite side, the catty corner side. Is that a Midwestern term? Catty corner. Is the small gray one right there. So you can see the days that have precipitation. So on this day, there was precipitation here and precipitation on this day. Now, she doesn't say what kind of precipitation. So these are your summer months. I assume it's rain. It could have been hail. The colder months, it could have been snow or sleet. But if there's any precipitation, that's how she did it, was with a gray triangle in the corner. She said, I followed a layout sheet in order to keep track of placement. And she did include that layout sheet. Now, this may be on the Darcy Quilts website, but that is it says Home Quilting Basics, contact us, but it doesn't say who. So that was the layout that she did. Oh my goodness, Jan, I just, wow. Okay, so she says, for tracking the weather, I use data from our backyard weather station, and she did include that. She said it's called weatherunderground.com, and I did link that down below. So weatherunderground.com is what it stands for. And she has their own home weather station, and it kept track of all of that stuff for her, which is even greater, because when I did mine, I just did for my closest town, but she's actually doing her home and the weather that was there. She says, I used an extra calendar to log in the temperatures, and after logging 40 days, I would sew those rows together. So she would track the temperature for 40 days, and at the end of that 40 days, then she would do those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12, except, so almost a month each time, a little bit more than a month is what she's doing. Okay. At the end of the year, before sewing all the rows together, I machine embroidered the symbols. All right, so I have to show you the symbols because this is really fun. So first of all, she machine embroidered the month. So you can see here it says August. You can see the change of the month, and I love that. I mean, that's so cool. Notice right here, she machine embroidered a star. And so the machine embroidery, it doesn't tell me on here, but the back of the quilt, she does a whole key to the front of the quilt. And so I'll show you that in just a minute. But there's a sun right here that's embroidered. There's a star, a yellow star embroidered here. There are some red stars embroidered as well. And what else do I see? It looks like that's it. So all of the month names, and then red star. Oh no, here is a red heart that's embroidered on this piece right here. And then you can see the month names, and you can see the stars there. Okay. She says, one design error in the quilt. And I hate to even point this out because I don't think it's, you know, a mistake in any way. But one design error in the quilt is that originally I did not start the top left row with a January block. But then as I went along, I realized it would look better. So let me pull this down. So right here, this January block, she said originally she did not do that. So what she did, what I did was removed the January 1st block and inserted the blue January block. So the backing fabric on here, whoops, big long string there, the backing fabric here and all of the month blocks right here, the fabric on that is Uncorked by Windham Fabrics. So this is not an actual temperature gauge. This is just the fabric that she used for all of the months. So when she originally started out, this first block was January 1st. She took January 1st out, and I'll show you where she put that in just a minute. And instead, she put the January embroidered name right there. And so then what she says is she's put the January 1st in the lower right-hand corner. So it does go back. So here she has another January block right here. And then it said, and then this is January 1st. So there was precipitation on January 1st. This was the high temperature, and then this was the low temperature. So I don't think it's an error. As she describes it, in no way is it an error. The symbols are for family birthdays, our wedding anniversary, and our son's anniversary. The highest temperature and the coldest average or coldest low temperature plus the eclipse day. So eclipse day was April the 8th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's so maybe you can see that. Sometimes they're very subtle, and then you see it. So there's like a grayed out sun right there for that embroidery for eclipse day. And there was precipitation on eclipse day, and here's the high temperature and the low temperature. I'm like, I am in awe of this. All in all, it's a colorful quilt, but I am so glad to be done. I realize that I don't like quilting projects that go on and on. Oh my goodness, this is just incredible. So let me show you the borders. Look at this border. So 2.5, this is done in strips in this direction. So this 2.5-inch piece is done in a horizontal row, and then she's done those on the diagonal and added them. Oh my goodness, it's just incredible. Across the bottom here, it says 2024 high-low temperatures, and that's all done in embroidery. She has a little snowflake, a little yellow sun on that. So cute. All right, let me flip this over so you can see the back. So on the back, she included a whole key so that you can read the front. Okay, so the fabrics that are used on the front, those larger square, well, even the small, even the triangles or the easy corner triangles would use these fabrics. So she has put in a little piece of the fabric and then told the temperature. So this aqua color was 28 to 31 degrees. This lighter one is 32 to 35. Then we're getting into the greens in the 30s, the 40s, all the way down to the reds, the purple, the oranges, purples, and reds, all the way up to 103 degrees. And I know I saw some of those. So then she has a key here. So it says Liberty Lake 2024 daily high and low temperatures is, so she's told us what the quilt is on the front, so you can match the temperatures with the ones on the front. And then she had, the hottest day was 102 degrees. The coldest day was a -10 degrees. And so those are symbols as well that are marked on the front. Her anniversary is done in a red heart. The solar eclipse is done in this gray sun. Birthdays are done in red or yellow stars. Now she says rain was listed. I didn't notice this one. I should have read the back of it. Rain was listed as gray, as an easy corner triangle. Snow was done as a white one, as an easy corner triangle. And it is a snow tone on tone fabric there. And then hail or grapple, I don't know if we have grapple in Indiana, is black. So let me see. So right here, this is one where the easy corner triangle is black. So that would have been hail or grapple, and others are gray, so that would have been rain. Here's a white one right there, so that one would have been snow. Jan, this is so incredible. So the quilting on this one, this is called Fluffy Clouds. She said she wanted some sort of a weather theme to it, and I thought clouds is a great thing. I just think, you can have clouds in snowy weather. You can have clouds in rainy weather. You can have clouds on sunny days. And so I just like the addition of the clouds. I think it fit with all of the different weather. Just just puffy clouds, super simple to stitch out. This is a new pantograph to me, but I will be using this one more and more. It is super cute. I did a light gray thread on this one. I felt that the light gray wasn't too bright on the black around the borders, and it blends so nicely with all of those colors there. And love it. So here's the backing fabric, and it's got some gold metallic in there, but you might be able to see the fluffy clouds. Super cute, super cute. Jan, oh my goodness, I think you outdid yourself. You're going to treasure this. I know in the minute it was a lot of work, but it is. This one should be hanging in your local historical society somewhere, because this is a record of the weather in your area for this year. And wow, I think it's absolutely beautiful. Jan, you did a great job. All right, one final quilt for you today. This is called Low Tide, and I mentioned earlier I'd be talking about jolly bars again, and so this is a jolly bar pattern. Jolly bars are 5 by 10 inch squares. This is exclusive to the Fat Quarter Shop. They're the only ones that do these. And in your Jolly Bar, you will have 42 pieces, okay? And each Jolly Bar comes with a pattern. So this is the Shoreline collection, which is done by Camille Roskelley. And notice the name of the pattern is called Low Tide. I think that's so cool because the fabric is called Shoreline. So I think that's really cool. This quilt measures 64 by 80, so rectangle. But Ruth asked me if I would orient it so it was the 80 was widthwise, because this is the way she's going to have it on her bed. So when we talk about pantograph, it's actually stitched out in this direction. So you can see the pattern. I believe it's all squares or half square triangles. Everything is done by that. And then you're getting these star shapes, you're getting the diagonal feel across the quilt, all done in those shapes. Even the pieces here, these are done in 5-inch squares. So you're starting with a 5 by 10 inch, and then you're either making those into 5-inch squares, or you're making them into into half square triangles. And that's where you're getting that design. It's so cute. Very, very pretty. Now what Fat Quarter Shop does is they have these patterns. This is the only time you can get the pattern is with the Jolly Bar until they collect them over a while, maybe a year or two, and then they put these out into a book. I believe there are 5 or 6 books currently out that say a Jolly Bar book, and so you can buy a whole book that then has many, many patterns in it that are all collected from the different ones. Your favorite fabric line is probably done in a Jolly Bar. You'll want to get on the Fat Quarter Shop website and look at that, whatever your favorite designer is. There'll be an exclusive pattern with that Jolly Bar, so you'll want to check that out. So the pantograph on this one, she asked for wave on wave, and here is what that one looks like. So again, a spiral, you do have the paisley or the feather type shape, but it is not along the entire backbone of a spiral. It's more done in just one concentrated area. And then you've got, so this one, as compared to the wave on wave, no, this is the wave on wave. As compared to the whisper had the feather much more on the backbone of that spiral. And then it had some circles in there as well. Wave on wave is similar, but this one has more spirals than it does the paisley print. So very cute on this one. So this is stitched this way. The length of the quilt is actually done, it's flipped so that the 80 is this way, the 64 is the height of it. Let me grab my thread. I was looking around for the thread. Okay, so Ruth asked that I use a light blue thread. On this one, she felt that white was going to be too bright on especially the blue sections of this quilt. So we went back and forth and we found a good one that kind of matched what she likes to piece with. And this is called Blue Ice. This is an omni thread. The number is 3087. Kind of a silvery blue, an icy blue like the name says. So a little brighter than these blues, and I think it blends, but it's got but it shows the quilting very nicely. So you can see that there. I did wind my own bobbin, so this is in the backing fabric as well. And let me bring in that backing. This again is one of Camille Roskelley's prints, kind of one of her smaller florals on the back. Very, very pretty. And then this is a blue thread on this one as well. So it matches what is on the front. Love this. So this pantograph is stitching out this direction. You can see I did shrink this up a little bit. So this is, if these blocks are 5, then this measures probably 6 inches. And so you have your spiral, a little bit of a paisley right there, your spiral, and then here is that concentration of those paisleys or the feather type of design, and then it comes out and does it over there. So very, very cute. I love this one. I love the pantograph on here, especially where you can see it in those blues, and it keeps it so feminine and soft and just a classy looking quilt and classy colors. And you'll want to get your hands on a Jolly Bar. And Camille Roskelley's new line, not new line, the reprinted line of Nantucket Summer is coming out soon, so you'll want to take a look at that. Shoreline is still available as well, but they're very similar and just beautiful fabrics. So great job, Ruth. So I do hope you enjoyed those quilts today. You guys are just incredible. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life today. And thank you to the quilters who have sent me quilts that I can be a part of their quilting journey. And I just love working with you guys. Thanks so much. Beautiful quilts today. I am in awe every time with the quilts that you all create. So don't forget about Quilt Circle membership opening up this weekend. If you are interested in that, you'll want to get your name on the wait list. And other than that, it is time to get back to your quilting if you haven't been doing it already. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you make lots of time for quilting, and every quilt is worth finishing. So I'll be back here next week to share more with you. We'll see you then.